Hey guys, so I'm making pasta al formaggio, and here are the elbow noodles I need to cook. And I have my boiling water with a lot of salt in it, and here are all my ingredients I'll need. The cheese and ragu sauce are added later. I had sprayed my pan, I put the oven on 350. Another clip of me waiting for the water to boil. Once the water's boiling, you pour the pasta in, pour about half a box in, and you wait till it's done cooking. It's like 7 to 8 minutes. And then you rinse it, and you put olive oil in it. And then here you put 4 cups of milk into a pan, and you put on the heat to simmer until bubbles start coming up. I use lactose-free milk. And then here I put 6 tablespoons of olive oil on, but I only had a teaspoon, so I had to do 18. And then I added flour to this once I heated up the olive oil, and you whisk it around until all the olive oil gets cooked, just like that. And then when you're done with that, you're gonna ladle in some of the hot milk into this to help thicken it up. So here I am stirring around the milk, making sure it's all good. It stank, by the way. And I'm just getting a ladle full of it, and I mixed it in off camera, and then I poured it into this pan again, and it did congeal up in the little pan, but that's fine. You just have to keep on mixing it through and through until it starts to get a tad bit thicker. You can see it's getting thicker in this clip compared to the last clip, and you're just whisking for about 1 to 2 minutes. I probably did it for about 2.5 minutes just to make sure everything was all whisking and thickened up enough before I moved on to my next step. And I reserved a cup of the sauce for the side. Then I poured in my 4 cups of ragu sauce into our mixture, and then here's a clip of me adding in all of our pasta into the white sauce and ragu sauce mix. And then afterwards, I just was mixing it around in this clip just to make sure everything is well combined. And I did add salt, pepper, and nutmeg for seasonings and taste. And I did taste this along the way a bunch too. So yeah, I just mixed it up until I felt like it was thoroughly covered. And the cup of white sauce is still off to the side, waiting to be used. And then here's a clip of me adding some salt, pepper, and maybe nutmeg. No nutmeg for spice, because I tasted it and so did my mom, and it didn't taste very seasoned. So we added some more seasonings in, making sure, and then I tasted while I was trying it just to make sure what it needed. And I said it was all good. So yeah. And now here's a clip of me putting in my sauce, my pasta concoction, into the actual baking dish that I'm going to be baking in the oven for. First, you had to pour some of the white sauce down. Make a thin layer. That's about half of it. So I used about half a cup. Here's me doing a good job of spreading it all around. And then I decided just to start mixing it all around like that. And it smelled a little bit. But yeah, and then now you add the rest of that on top of it. Probably we're supposed to do it differently, but that's how I did it. And I just put it around into an even layer around the dish. And then I put all the dishes to the side, in the sink. And then after that, you're supposed to smooth it out. I smoothed it out enough just to try to cover the white sauce, because I didn't know how that was going to bake, or if it was going to, what was going to happen to it. So I just tried to cover up as much as I could, bury it under. As you can tell, I didn't try that hard around to try to cover up all the white sauce. But then afterwards, you use the rest, so around half a cup of the white sauce, to put on top of it. And then I grated off camera around half a cup, maybe more, of Parmesan from a cheese block, and you sprinkle that all on top. Oh, we're not doing it yet. Okay. I don't know what I was doing here. I was just mixing it. But we mix our cheese into it that I'm now grating. Yeah, there's a lot of clips of me eating cheese because it didn't really work out. It's kind of hard at first. But, yeah, so this is like a real block of cheese. I didn't want to use anything fake. And it tasted better, like it was needed to use a fresh block. And yeah, so I just grated it up a bunch. I grated a bunch off camera too, so I grated around half a cup, maybe more to this point, and then I'm sprinkling on top, making like a nice layer of cheese.
Okay.
You can do more, you can do less. It's really up to whatever you want to do. The recipe didn't really say exactly what for me to do, so I think I'm just gonna sprinkle a bunch on, and then I use the rest as toppings. Now here's a clip of me putting it into the oven, 350. I put it in for about 25 minutes, and then I did that. Then I put on the broiler on high for about 3 minutes to get that crispy color. Wow. Then I cut up some basil. I like rinsed it off, cut it up, off camera, and I forgot to film it. And then here's me serving it. When serving, I recommend using a spoon, not a fish spatula like I did, because it's not like a lasagna consistency.
Be a little more lasagna.
And I had a rough time doing it, like trying to scoop it. So then I just said screw it and used just a spoon to scoop the rest, because it worked just as fine. It was thick enough as to where it didn't go through the little holes in the spoon. But yeah, here's the finished product. And then I'm putting my basil on. Put a lot of basil on. It was delish. And then after this, I sprinkle some cheese on it. Some more parm that I had from when I was shaving it in the last clip a minute ago.
The what?
And then here's me trying it. It was hot, but it tasted really good. It tasted like just like a lot of sauce with bits of pasta. So,
Are y'all ready?
I mean, it was good. I wish it was crispier.